Howdy, y'all. It got a little cold since yesterday, but it happens. Time of year. JBE, howdy, sir. Or actually, it's JBHDE. I'm not cold. I put on enough layers. I'm not cold. So what? Y'all would think it's much colder here than it actually is by all the stuff I'm wearing. It was damn near 80 degrees yesterday, and it's pretty much it's going to be falling off and getting colder and colder and colder. It's supposed to get down to freezing sometime tonight. Summon my inner Boris. I wish. Though I've been out in 16 degree weather, which he says is somewhere in his winter weather sweet spot. Howdy, Steve. Great to see you, sir. I will tell you, yes, I've got a hat and a hoodie thing. That's just to keep the cold air out of my ears, because I have always had bad problems with ear infections, and I don't take those risks anymore unless I absolutely can't avoid it. And well, you know what, 47 years worth of having jacked up problems with my ears going bonkers because I didn't take the time to take my precautions. No, I take the time now, and it's fine. In case y'all are wondering, that'll be coffee. I think you can still see the steam coming up. And if I blow on it, it'll steam up my glasses, and then I can't see. So awesome. So I'm wanting to know, is anybody in the YTPC not a cigar smoker? There's a reason I ask. I am currently working on filling this as full as I can get it with nothing but cigar ashes. And cigar ashes and distilled water becomes pipe mud. And pipe mud is a really good thing to have a supply of for your pipes. The problem is, if you're not a cigar smoker, how do you go about getting a whole crap ton of cigar ash? JB, yes, sir. I understand that statement entirely. There's too many people out there that share that sentiment with you, especially in right now, today's environment. Oh, goody. it's even doing a little bit of a raindrop type thing. Won't that be wonderful? Oh, and in case y'all are looking for what I'm smoking today, that's going to be a Series G Toro. That'd be 6 by 50. 6 inches long, 50 ring gauge, Oliva Series G. Okay, Steve's got a question. Don't worry, I like questions. And Daniel, in case you're out there listening, don't worry about coming on here and asking too many questions. As long as you're asking questions, I've got shit to talk about. That's the way I see it. All right, first, what do I think of cigar holders? Steve, it kind of depends upon what you're talking about by a cigar holder. If you are talking about, there are some things that look like gigantic clothespins crossed with a hair clip, and for out golfing or something like that, they're helpful. You can attach it to a rail or something, or if you have a chair that doesn't have any kind of a table near it, and you're wanting to clip a cigar some way, shape, or form so it doesn't just keep rolling away or falling on the ground, then they work quite well. But if you're looking at using them for like a really, really fancy cigar, high-end, top-of-the-line type thing, quite honestly, don't use it. Hold on to it with your hand and enjoy every second of it. Don't put it down for nothing. My own personal statement. Now, if you happen to be at a place where there is several ashtrays, but you don't happen to have an extra little U-shaped thing that will fit a cigar, there's a company out there, and I'm going to have to look up the name. I've got one, and it works rather well. It's a stainless steel block that is... basically, it's an H, but the inside of the H on the top and the bottom is actually just rounded out so that it'll fit a 60 ring gauge or larger cigar. Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. All right. And as far as a punch goes, I prefer two sizes of punches. They do make smaller ones, and I can't seem to get a good enough draw if I use a smaller one, so I don't have one. The two that I have are both from Zycar. One looks like a spark plug. That is for 60 ring gauge or larger, especially if it has a flat head. The CAO flathead is a good example of that. It's very hard to cut with a flat cutter or a V cutter on anything that is shaped with a very flat head without tearing up the head. The other one looks kind of like a bullet. Now, they make them in a brass color and silver, and this one originally was black. As you can see, this one is well used. This is the one I used today. Operation is literally just pull it out. And the one that looks like a spark plug is a twist to open. and then a twist to close. I like both these sizes very well, and if you're looking at Zycar.com, if you find the spark plug or the one that's shaped like a bullet, you are not going to be steered off from the size that I'm talking about. But yes, I use both of those. Neither one is an exclusive type thing. Other than 60 ring gauge or larger, I use the larger one that looks like a spark plug. And the smaller ones, until they get too small at the cap, I will use the bullet-shaped one. Now, as far as the cigar holders that you were talking about, there are companies that make the Meerschaum ones, and I know people that swear by those things. My problem is I don't want to cram it in there until it's down to just really a nub, and at that stage I have enough cobs or whatever that will fit. Like the Oliva Series G that I'm smoking right now, okay, that's a Country Gentleman. It fits pretty damn good. All I need to do is cut a couple of little notches in this and squeeze it a little bit, and it'll fit right in there. So as far as buying one of those cigar holders, I know a lot of people that love them and they think that they are great, but I'm a little more towards utility, because I can't smoke a pipe out of one of those cigar holders, but I can smoke a pipe out of a corn cob. Now, it does take a little bit of time and work to get enough corn cobs that you can fit a full set of whatever kind of cigar that you got or want. But once you have a full set of every size that you could want, you also got a decent set of pipes for a whole week. I mean, if I only had just the corn cobs that I use to fit little nubs of cigars into, if I only had that, I've got a 7-day set. Well, if I have a 7-day set, that means I can smoke every day of the week, and I only have to devote 1 day of the week to cleanup. And, you know, with cobs, they're throwdowns. You don't have to take care of them like as if it's a, you know, Phil Rivera or an Asekian or anything else. It's a Missouri Meerschaum. Now, there are tins of tobacco that are more expensive than my most expensive cob. So if I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to clean up a cob, okay, no big deal. I can get to it the next day or the day after. Or if it comes down to, oh, look, it's Monday, it's time to clean up everything that I smoked this week. No big deal. Now, I will tell you that with my cobs and my briars, when I finish, it goes into a certain spot. And at night, before I go to bed, I will at least run a pipe cleaner down through the stem, just to make sure that that gunk does not harden and make it really hard to clean up. I got in the habit of that because I like clay pipes too. And if you let the gunk in a clay pipe harden, it turns into cement and you'll never smoke it again. You might as well throw it out. And it's still a good pipe. Howdy, Patrick. Great to see you, sir. All right, well, I'm going to get this lit now that I'm 15 minutes and a half in. Oh. Zippo. Howdy, sir. Wait, let's say it the right way. That's Zippo 765. Because it's an homage to 860. Now, Steve, that is one thing that they will do. They will definitely hold out the tobacco strays that you end up with. Yes, Patrick, it actually is kind of chilly here in the Houston today. Jose Golf Piper, howdy, sir. Great to have you in. Now, nobody get upset when I repeat information that I heard somewhere else, that Zippo decided to go with a name that honors, matches 860. And hey, you know what? Very cool. Very cool. But like I said, I'm not about to change my name to Bowdrill 713. I live in the 713 area code, just in case y'all are wondering. Also, I think there's 283 and 281, or 832 and 281. So I don't have any sixes in there at all. It's just not going to work for me. And in case y'all are wondering what a bow drill is, that's one of those old style things. You put a block of wood and a thing, they call it a spindle, and this thing that looks like a bow for a bow and arrow, and you wrap it once around the thing called a spindle, and you have a block down below, and you use friction to create heat that eventually turns into a small cinder and a coal if you do it right. And then you dump it into a tinder bundle and you can puff it all to flame and life. And if you don't believe me, there's a guy who puts out one video 20 to 30 minutes every Sunday by the name of Sean Kelly. He's here on YouTube, Corporal's Corner. And yes, every Sunday I watch one of his videos. I don't know when I'm going to watch it on Sunday, but every Sunday I watch the video that shows up. And so, yeah, the bow drill. And a good flint and steel, look, tell you what, that's a prize in itself, sir. And in case y'all are wondering why I watch all that stuff, no, I'm not some sort of, oh my God, I have to prep. I used to really enjoy hunting and camping and all of that before I shattered a kneecap. It was nothing for me to go on 150-mile hikes because I could. And then after I shattered my kneecap, you know, I got fat and I got lazy, and I had already been informed that forget it, it's over. You're not going to be doing rock climbing and tree jumping and all this other stuff that you used to like to do. Yeah. I went from extreme sports to extreme lazy. Telling you. No big deal. Just explaining why I like to watch Corporal's Corner as a program. Oh, very cool. Steve, I don't mind having a Bic or a Zippo or a box of matches or a can of gas, flint and steel. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to start fire. And I've used most of them. I can't say all of them. I've never played with any phosphorus to start a fire. I hope I never have to. Just saying. And yes, I've even gone as far as to a little bit of powdered chlorine and some brake fluid. Though I'm going to tell you right now, crystallized chlorine and brake fluid is going to put up a very large flame from a very small amount compared to what you think it's going to do. So be very careful if you're going to do that. I've lost a few chin whiskers a time or two thinking that it wasn't going to create that big of a flame. Oh no, it still does. Oh yeah. Hey, there's at no point in time a day goes by where I'm not ready that if I have to leave the house and I can't come back for whatever reason, that I cannot start some kind of a fire even in a downpour. I can get a fire lit. But at least, like I was saying, with it's called the channel name is Corporal's Corner with Sean Kelly, and but I like his program. Normally, it'll be on a Sunday morning, way before anybody's even up, and I'll be sitting out here watching that, drinking a coffee, and smoking on a pipe. And that's just because, you know, that is very true, JB. That is very true. Pine cones and the off spray. If you spray down a pine cone really well, you just barely got to get a spark onto it and it'll go up. So that's another good quick trip. All right, so Zippo's telling us that he's smoking some gentleman collar and an Country Gentleman. Very nice. Hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do the bowl call. I'm not going to gong anything right now. It's a little cold out here. So, gong, bowl call. What are you smoking? What are you smoking it in? Howdy, Jeffrey. Great to see you, sir. And, of course, I'm smoking the Oliva Series G. In case you're wondering if I've been trying to stay off of the heavier cigars lately, yes, I have been. I'm trying to get done with this cough that's been plaguing me for a while without actually killing myself. Not a problem, Zippo. Hey, look, it all works out. Boris, howdy, sir. Great to see you. Also, Huva Ilta. And wow. I know that the last word is Houston, but that's just because there's a lot of Texas words that don't translate for crap in any language. Patrick's got some, or had some, H.H. Old Dark fired in his 2020 Peterson Pipe of the Year. Boris just came in with smoking some H.H. Burley Flake in his London Calling with Simon Pipe number 375. I'm jealous, Boris, just saying. And no, Boris, you would probably still be sweating in my weather right now. I promise. It's not that cold. JB's got C&D Orient Express. Oh, it's an Oriental Forward English. Nice. In a Bones. Very nice. All right. Steve's got Virginia Slices in a Mirror. Steve, just stay off of the grape. We don't need to see you skint. Kathy seemed like she was a little bit upset yesterday. Let's just let her chill out for a little bit before we try that crap again. All right, and Jose Golf Piper's got Peter Stokeby 701 Virginia in his 673 Savinelli. Very nice. Yeah, Boris, this is day one of winter here in the Houston, and it'll be gone by the time the weekend fully sets in. That's the way Houston is. We have 3 days of winter, and it is quite literally not consecutive. If I could just get 3 consecutive days of cold weather, it wouldn't feel this damn cold. But like I said, it was 80 yesterday. It got up to 45 degrees today. Yeah, it's the 40-degree swing in temperature and no change in humidity that really, really kicks my ass. I'm not going to lie about it. Oh, and Jeffrey's got a Stanwell Bulldog with Balkan Sassini. Very nice. Now, as I will always point out, yes, I'm bundled up. No, it's not that cold. But yes, I'm going to sit out here for an hour and a half at least. And whether it gets colder or starts blowing a little harder or rain starts coming down, I'm still going to be out here. So this is all in part and parcel of me saying, you know what, let me just take the precautions of not getting sick. And we're still going to tailgate. So just don't worry about me. We will make it happen. Look, I'm telling y'all right now, I would love to have winters like most people do. Most people winter. This is how winter goes. it goes from November into a slump into December, and it gets cold and stays there. And then eventually it gets to spring and the temperatures start coming back up the other direction. I would love for that here in Houston. But no, Houston will be 80 and then it'll be 20. And then it'll be back to 80 and then it'll be 40. And your body does not get a chance to acclimatize to the cold. So it feels so much colder. Boris, that is very true. And yes, it is the Raiders gloves. Got these this year from the wife. She gets me something Raiders every year. I got a watch and a pair of gloves. And I'm very happy with that. And she spent too much money on the watch. I don't know how much she spent on the gloves, but probably too much money on those as well. But yes, smoking a pipe with gloves that don't leave your fingertips exposed is difficult. I've never been able to figure out how to do it yet. Unless it's like welding gloves. But then it's hard to operate the Zippo, so there is that. Howdy, Everett. Great to see you, sir. And no, Everett, you would probably still be running around in your Tarzan getup if you were here in Houston. Whereas, of course, I'm bundled up nice and tight because it feels extra cold today for me. I can admit it. I don't do well with the cold. But I can always put another layer on and I can get to the point where I'm okay. So much harder the other side of the coin, like summer, when you're going like, I can't take another layer off because the only thing left is skin. That's when my genetic makeup says, oh yeah, we're in our prime now. -3 Celsius. Oh, Boris. That's brutal. But at least I know what I can deal with cold. Coldest day that I have ever experienced here in Houston was 14 or 15 degrees. I don't remember exactly, but Boris was there with me. We smoked a pipe. Or at least I smoked a pipe. He at least kept me company. It was brutal for me. I'll admit it. Howdy, Chip. Great to see you, sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing fairly well. How about yourself? And Boris has been having an unseasonably warm winter this year. At least from what I can tell. He's had a few days actually this year that have been above freezing. And that's scary. Clifton frickin' Higgins. Howdy, sir. Great to see you. How is life in the ARK? That would be Arkansas. Don't say Arkansas. That's actually illegal to say in Arkansas. It is. Look it up. And yes, if I could have like cold without the wind, it would be okay if it was 100% humidity. And if I could have cold with no humidity, it'd be fine if it was 800 mile an hour winds, as long as I don't blow away with them. But it's the cold and the humidity and the wind. There's just I can't put up with it personally. So I bundle up. I do what I can. Well, Cliff, we're glad that you're doing all right. How's our knife, by the way? In case y'all are wondering, Philip Rivera made a knife. Oh, that's right. You don't have it yet. I'll stop asking. Anyways, the knife got sent to Stumbo so a sheath could be made. The knife is beautiful, but it's got my initial on the bottom of it, so I keep trying to convince Mr. Higgins that we should share. I don't think he's in the sharing mood with that particular knife, though. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you, ma'am. That's funny, Steve. And Okie from Arky. Yeah, JB, he's not going to share that knife with me, and I don't blame him. Just because the first initial of his last name and the first initial of my last name happen to be the same. I gotta try and tease him about something. Not much I can actually tease him about. I like him too much to tease him. Howdy, Paul. Great to see you, sir. Sharon, no, I am not cold. I'm bundled up very sufficiently. In fact, I'm probably just a little bit too bundled up. But as the temperature continues to go towards that freezing point, I'm not feeling it. And mostly, quite honestly, it's all about my ears. When I get really cold and my ears get really cold, I will normally end up with an ear infection. It's happened all my life, and I don't want to go to the hospital for an ear infection. I don't even want to think about going to the hospital with COVID going around, but I mean, I don't want to have that problem with any kind of ear infection at all. I had enough of them growing up. I don't need any more. Who doesn't love Merle Haggard, though? All right, now look, there's a lot of people out there that don't like country music. I'm one of them. I'm not a big fan of country music. I'm just not. But the true holy crap musicians that are out there in the world, and that are now, they're older than dirt, half of them, and the other half, they're starting to die off left, right, and sideways. Oh, Zippo, that sounds horrible. So Zippo went to the woods to do a quick video, or at least he thought it was going to be quick. Got everything set up, but then the sun dropped, and so did the temperature, and yeah, fingers start feeling that frostbite. Yeah, just not good. Right, Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, a lot of the really, truly great musicians, they've been passing left, right, and sideways for a while now. I kind of worry about what kids are listening to now, because it's all a computer synthesized with vocals run through auto tune and somebody else that's not even anything to you writing your lyrics. And Lord help you if you can't dance or look good in a certain type of clothes or whatever it happens to be. Hey, it's getting dark. I'm going to flip on the light. Just a second. Oh, and Trump ran out when I did that. Yay. Yeah, Zippo, I'm pretty much right there with you. Auto-tune has destroyed the ability of people to even think about actually putting together good music. It seems like I've got a little smudge on the camera. Hey, I hope that helped. Looks like it helped from my end. Hopefully it helped on your end too. Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be some people that are going to outlive their usefulness as musicians. But you look at the musicianship of today's music, and you just kind of have to... If you grew up anywhere near the 70s, and if your parents listened to anything at all during the 60s, then you probably at least heard about some damn good music. That is true, Zippo. That is very true. Boris, that's also pretty much true. The radio, look, 8 different channels that you could go through. One country, one rock, one popular, one this, one that, one this other. They all sound the same now because they're all run through the same exact computer equipment. It's like nobody even tries. And for the people that are really trying and actually playing their own instruments and stuff like that, you got to feel kind of bad for them because they're not getting noticed. Not for real. Well, Everett, Elvis was not bad music. I mean, it wasn't my kind of music personally, but it wasn't bad. Stevie Ray Vaughan, just, he blew away 80% to 95% of all guitarists that I've ever heard. There's some people that could play with him, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. There, of course, was Eddie Van Halen and Slash, Carlos Santana. And there's a whole troupe of people that played nothing but Spanish-style guitar. There's some absolutely phenomenal musicians out there. But you just don't have... Those people aren't coming along anymore. And that's sad. And, all right, let's be honest about it. Lyrically, there is a lot of songs out there that are just really lyrically horrible. Nobody put any effort into putting the music or lyrics to anything. And I one time proved this. Now, I've got 2 nephews, 2 nieces, and they all play various different instruments. And I got a hold of some sheet music for Peter, Paul, and Mary, which you wouldn't think is all that hard until you actually start looking at all the sheet music for it, and then you start realizing, oh my God, this stuff is brutal. How did these old hippie folk play this stuff? Talent and practice. Lots of practice. It took them 3 weeks to learn one song out of Peter, Paul, and Mary's playbook. Now, I'm going to hurt some feelings here because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me on this. One of my least favorite bands is Nirvana. Because musically, their stuff was crap. My youngest nephew, it took him 2 hours to learn to play one of the most popular Nirvana songs of all time. It took the oldest one, the one that was most musically talented at the time, 2 weeks to learn to play one Peter, Paul, and Mary song. But it took 2 hours for the one that was least skilled at the time to learn to play the most popular Nirvana song of all time. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not been just a gradual thing. I mean, really, it has been a gradual thing. Starting in like early 90s and moving forward, you just had to have the right sound at the right time. You didn't even have to actually play very well. But there are a ton of Nirvana fans out there that would tell me that I'm stupid, that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just giving you a real world experience. My real world experience. I took some musicians that had never heard Nirvana before. I know because I know who they are. And I took some musicians that had never heard Peter, Paul, and Mary. And for them to play Peter, Paul, and Mary right took 2 weeks to learn. And 2 hours or less to play Nirvana. So, oh, Patrick, I'm not even going in on all the people that just do a whole lot of sampling. Because there are a ton of them. But then again, you know, even rock and roll does some sampling from time to time. Or just plain old flat out copying. JB, yeah, quality is dropping with pretty much everything. And Patrick, if you're asking what the most popular Nirvana song of all time, according to everything I've heard, it would be Smells Like Teen Spirit. The hardest thing for my oldest nephew to learn to play of the Nirvana was that little they're playing along sorta kinda, but it's like 2 chords. Literally it's 2 chords, and one of them puts a little bit of a string flex when they're playing. I don't ask me exactly what the correct terminology is, because my ability to play is less than Nirvana's. So, well, there you go. Well, I'll agree with the statement about Picasso, because he died broke. But after he died, his stuff took off. That's the problem about being a well-known artist. You have to die for your stuff to be actually worth anything. Yes, Kiss is a interesting band, to say the least. Zippo, that's pretty close. Oh, come on now. Now, we all know that Neil Peart was the heart and soul of Rush. And when it was obvious that his health was failing, that's when they hung it up. But there are still people who have never heard of Neil Peart, and the first time they see what he did with the drums was like, what in the hell? And there's some groups out there that have like one really great musician and some others that can basically keep up and help make the rest of the song work. I think one of the most interesting ones, of course, was the Eagles, where there was a whole group of people that played in the background for the Eagles, because the Eagles, what everybody knows is the Eagles was 5 guys who would sit out there and play guitar. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of them also played some drums too, but it's there. Yes, but Everett, the only song that I can sing from Rush accurately is YYZ. Some people are going to be confused until they look that up. Cliff, then there was the story about how one of the groupies decided to break into Gene Simmons's room, and he was already tired, so he sent her to the roadies. And she did it. Some crazy women out there. Of course, according to Gene, he said that trip was awesome because the roadies were like, hey man, you need something done? Yeah, not a problem. Let's get it done. There was no grumbling, no extra, nothing like that. They were just like, yeah, let's get it done. I'm seeing Yes and Motorhead. I mean, y'all all know the story about Ozzy biting the head off of a bat. Of course, he was drunk as crap and thought it was a toy bat. And he said, hey, you know what? It's not worth having the rabies shots afterwards. Trust me on that one. Patrick, I do believe you're correct about him being the only drummer that wrote all the lyrics. But Phil Collins did his share of writing the songs and the lyrics. But he did not write all the songs and all the lyrics. Well, Cliff, We could only go Freebird if I've got my Zippo out, and I don't. Now, the other thing that was going on at the time when Ozzy bit the head off of a bat, Ozzy and Alice Cooper were basically having a gross amount fight. They were trying to see who could be the most gross on stage. Howdy, Robert. Great to see you, sir. Yes, I might be a little chilly, but we're still tailgating. I got a cat that wants in. He thinks it's cold. He's got a fur coat. Yeah, go in, sucker. He'll be right back to the door here in a minute going like, I want back out. You're supposed to come in with me and feed me cookies. But yes, which brings me to another crazy thing. Did you know that Alice Cooper, at one point in time, was a Mormon? And his dad was like really high up in the church. And then Alice Cooper dyed his, they have a set of holy pajamas, or they look like long johns, except for they've got a weird spot like right over the heart and on one of the knees, I think it is. And these things are called garments. Oh, Cliff, yeah, I'm sorry. It must be exactly 6 o'clock. Yep, there it is. 6 o'clock, I get my daily email. Sorry. Well, Everett, he became a minister, but he dyed his Mormon holy garments, and they're actually called garments. He dyed them blood red and came out on stage and was literally excommunicated from the Mormon religion. Got his dad in some bad trouble too, from what I remember. Patrick, that is definitely true. There were definitely songs of Genesis that were written by Peter Gabriel. But like I said, Phil Collins had the ability. He just didn't capitalize on all that ability. I mean, but let's be honest, Neil Peart is the exact opposite of Elton John, except for the fact that they are both really super musically talented. Elton John didn't write a single lyric. He got a page of lyrics and put music to it. Everett, Alice Cooper's got a lot of things going on, including Alice Cooperstown in Phoenix, Arizona, which is a baseball Hall of Fame and rock and roll Hall of Fame mashup and a restaurant. And in case y'all are wondering, right over here, I've got everything, everybody's typing, but it's fading out because of the light. So I apologize that I'm having to keep do like this so that I can see what people are typing, so that I'm not so far behind on what everybody's talking about, that I can at least sort of have some conversation. Well, Robert, nobody dressed up in weirder outfits than Elton or Bowie. Hell, as far as it goes, the one that dressed least gay was Freddie Mercury. Y'all don't pick on me for saying least gay. I mean, at the time, that's what it was. But if you look at the craziness there, it was a lifestyle that was looked down upon. I don't care one way or the other. And what's the alphabet soup? LGBTQZRXY. I don't even know. I don't even try to know. Look, the G that's in that whole statement is gay. So if somebody wants to think that I'm some sort of bashing on somebody, no, I'm not. They decided they were going to own it and forevermore just say, screw it, it's cool. More power to you, brothers. If that's the way you want to go for it. And if y'all think I'm picking on Freddie Mercury for being gay or bi, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Dude had pipes. He could freaking sing, and his piano pieces were freaking awesome. And I've got no problem with people who are gay. Now, I have problem with people who are gay who are trying to force it on me. That doesn't work. I don't force my lifestyle on you. You shouldn't force your lifestyle on me. As long as we're okay with that, then we're okay. Oh, and I did watch the Queen documentary because I really liked the band. And I already knew Freddie Mercury had his sexual issues and his drug issues. I didn't even watch it for that. I watched it to see all the other stuff. Like, I was wondering how they did some of the weird stuff that they did, and all of their stuff came out as saying it was not using a synthesizer to get it there. The amount of just straight up weird stuff that they did and made it work was just like, my God, how did they even come up with this crap? Well, I watched that whole movie so that I could see how they came up with some of that crap. Because I wanted to know. But yeah, look at their first 4 albums. No synthesizers used at all. Oh yeah, and Brian May is an astrophysicist. Meaning the dude's a genius. Sorry. There's another ding ding. I'm sorry. Anybody wearing headphones? Oh yeah, Rob Halford. It should have been obvious to a lot of people. Rob Halford had some strange ideas going for him. And looking back, some of those songs really kind of threw it out there and tried to let you know. Just a lot of us didn't take the hint. Howdy, Todd. Great to see you, sir. Yes, yes. I did see the Beatles documentary. Definitely good viewing. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff that went into being a musician back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and you know, as the AIDS thing became more known, music got a little straighter, I guess. But I think it had more to do with people being afraid of certain things. Oh, Patrick. Freddie Mercury at Live Aid walked out on stage and owned everybody else that played that day. And Cliff, I'm glad you put it in there. I was going to just not mention that. Patrick, I believe that you are correct that all the members of Queen did have college degrees. But Brian May had that, like, way above and beyond weird college degree where, why astrophysicist? And I'm sorry, but my personal opinion, Brian May was the most talented person in the group Queen. That's not to say they weren't all talented one way, shape, form, or the other. I think that if you had to rank them in actual musical talent that Brian May, the astrophysicist, was the most talented musically also. Again, that's not trying to take away anything from the others. Hey. It'd be like it would be like saying that Cliff Higgins is the best dentist in Arkansas. Quite probably true. I'm not saying that there's not other dentists that can be hanging in with Cliff Higgins' league there in Arkansas. It's just that there he goes. I'm allowed my opinion, right? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Well, I guess that's pretty good if you like Texas music. Weird thing, there's a lot of Texas musicians out there on the planet, and people just don't know. For a long time, people thought Pantera was from somewhere in California. No, they started just south of Dallas, a place called Waxahachie. Wait, are you saying Mike Campbell or Glenn Campbell? I'm thinking Glenn Campbell. Oh yeah, ZZ Top obviously is from Texas. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas. Pantera, Texas. One of the Eagles, Texas. It's strange and eerie that there's so many that are from. Oh, don't get me wrong. There's very musically talented people out there in the world. I was just pointing out that there's a lot of them from Texas. Of course, Texas is a mighty big place, so it stands to reason we probably got a few extra digits there to work with. But who was it that played with Glenn Campbell? But they played a song on the same guitar. Two guys playing one guitar at the same time. Good research there, Patrick. I knew they all had that. That's a pretty good list there, Boris. Yes, Tom Petty was actually from Florida. Who's the other one that I always confuse with Tom Petty? Hey, Carl Perkins was one hell of a good player. Howdy, Peter Piper. Great to see you, sir. I keep forgetting the name of the guy I'm still trying to think. I know he died not too long ago. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Peter, it's not actually all that cold, but I'm I'm dressed for the whole hour and a half plus show, and I didn't know how far off that the temperatures were going to drop. All I can figure out is that it's supposed to get down to freezing today, and yesterday it was like almost 80 degrees. It's that big swing in temperature that just really I can't work with it too much, but I do what I can, because hey, you know what? Tailgating's still going to happen. I've heard all of those guys live, Cliff. I've heard all of those guys live. Okay, I will be fair about this. I live in Houston. Every year we have this thing called the rodeo. And I'll tell you right now, every country music star wants to play at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. At least once in their life. And back when I was an electrician, only as an electrician, I could get into all of those shows just by volunteering. They've got to do a lot of electrical work. They got to do it fast. They got to do it accurate. They got to do it safe. And, well, I was pretty good at it. And if you know where to put your application in to volunteer, you also know that as the electrician, you're going to do all that work ahead of time, and then you're going to be there the whole show, and then you pack it all up at the end of the night. Freaking easy job. Not that hard. Woo, Steve. Hey, let's just remind y'all that if you build a house and all four sides of that house face south and a bear walks by, the bear will be white. I do like some bagpipe music. Especially that guy out there on YouTube that plays the flaming bagpipes and does like AC/DC songs. Cliff, that's funny. I don't know how cold it is for y'all, but it's just a mite chilly out here today. All right, so we are into the last 5 minutes ish. So Robert, if you got to set up, your 5-minute count starts already. If that means you got to bail, don't worry, you don't even have to wave. We'll be over at your channel here in a minute. Though I would have to say one of those groups I've really kind of digging on is Steve and Seagulls. Or is it Steven Seagull? I'm not sure the exact name of the band. But they are playing instruments that should not be used for the music that they're playing, and they're making it work. What? Everett wore pants. I think one of the most interesting times I ever heard bagpipes. I went to a Megadeth show here in the Woodlands. That's up north where Steph and Skip live. And they had a little known band at the time called Korn, K-O-R-N. And the K was backwards, in case you want to look it up. The song was Chutes and Ladders. And there is nothing like watching a couple of 3,000 to 6,000 headbangers just standing there with their mouths hanging open as the front man comes out wearing the kilt and playing the bagpipes for that one particular song. Cliff, no, not the actor Steven Seagal, but Steve and Seagulls or something like that. They're on YouTube. You'll think I'm crazy until you look them up. And then when you look them up, you're going to be like, what the hell? So yeah, Cliff, you're gonna be thinking I'm kind of strange until you look that group up. But they've got an accordion, a very small little drum kit, guy playing banjos. Yes, that's it. Steve and Seagulls. I know it when I see it. Cliff, you would if you had already put the NO2 to him. Here, just keep this mask on. Keep breathing. You'll be fine. You can't play guitar for shit. Keep breathing. You'll be fine. Yeah, Steve. Kind of a fan. They do rock with a bluegrass style, and they actually make it work. And it's songs that you're like, there's no way they could do this song, and they still make it work. One of my favorite ones was Cemetery Gates, which is from Pantera. Which is a song I actually like, just saying. Cliff, step away from the Georgia line. Step away from the Georgia line. Come back, brother. Or at least take your cane and your knife and several firearms. Alright, somebody start checking to see when Robert goes live. He should be live pretty soon here. Yes, Jonathan Davis, that's right. I will tell you a fun story about Jonathan Davis at one point. Not tonight, it takes a little bit too long. Cliff, you're probably right about being able to outrun him these days. I can't say the same. I only got one good knee, but that's probably part of the reason why I carry a gun. I can't outrun you. There's no point in me trying to run away from you. So I might as well go ahead and be prepared. Okay, Steve has reported that Robert is live, and so has Everett. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it has been great fun having y'all here this evening. Hey, we barely talked cigars at all, interestingly enough. As per always, remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. And like always, remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you at Robert's here in just a minute. Y'all take care, and bye for now.